Are you excited about learning what's new in the application development space? I am going to be joined by Phil Coletti on my team, and he's going to talk to you about hybrid tables, which is one of the key building blocks when it comes to the application development. Phil's here.
Awesome.
Want to say hi to everyone?
Hey, everyone. I'm Phil Coletti. I'm the product manager for hybrid tables here at Snowflake. Super excited to tell you a bit more about what we've been working on.
Right. So let's get started. When you think about application development, you have to really think about the performance, the availability, the observability of your applications. You need a strong story for developer operations like CLI tools, Python APIs, REST APIs. Observability is very critical for application development. And then the next level is you have to think about your data services. As you know, Snowflake is a great analytics database, but you also need the ability to store and manage your application state. This is where hybrid tables come in. You also need the ability to bring your programs that you've written in languages and ecosystem and runtimes of your choice. So you need a strong ecosystem to bring your existing business logic to Snowflake. So we are very excited to show this graphic today where we're saying that for application development, we have a lot of building blocks that you need today. We have a very strong foundation of data. We have strong foundation of observability with the announcement of Snowflake Trail and some of the things that we are announcing in the DevOps space. We have a rich programming environment with user-defined functions, stored procedures that you've written in SQL or any of the runtimes supported by Snowpark, and obviously with the full extensibility of Snowpark Container Services. We're going to talk about all of these, but hopefully this is the message that you get today, which is if you're building applications on Snowflake, this is an amazing applications platform for you to build on top of. So this is the agenda. We're very quickly going to talk about hybrid tables. Phil's going to talk to us about hybrid tables. I'll go over Snowpark Container Services, what's new. We'll quickly talk about search, and then we'll talk about Snowflake Native Applications Framework, which really brings all of these building blocks together for you to build, distribute, and monetize your applications. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Phil. And Phil, please take over.
Awesome. All right, so we got a lot of ground to cover with all of those building blocks Unmesh mentioned. So I'm going to try to zip through hybrid tables fairly quickly here. Hybrid tables are a new table type in the Snowflake Data Cloud. We've talked about them last year at Summit as well. They were in private preview then. I'm super excited that they are now in public preview and have been since earlier this year. We're working to get them to you generally available so that you can use them for your production workloads. But we're working with a lot of customers in the public preview, and we're really excited about what they're building. Hybrid tables, I mentioned they're a new table type. They're really targeted at powering your hybrid workloads on Snowflake, including some of your application workloads. Snowflake is an analytical database originally, so what hybrid tables are really bringing to the platform is more of those transactional data capabilities. At the forefront of that is fast point operations. So we say hybrid tables are going to give you double-digit millisecond point reads and writes at high concurrency, critically, because you have applications with many different users and sessions all operating on different data sets in those tables at the same time. They also support a bunch of features that Snowflake hasn't necessarily supported historically with standard tables. So you get things like primary key enforcement, foreign key enforcement with referential integrity constraints. You can declare additional secondary indexes for snappy response times on common access paths. And critically, hybrid tables use row locking for your DMLs rather than partition locking or table locking, which you might be familiar with from standard table use. When we designed hybrid tables, we kept Snowflake's core product principles at the top of our mind. Number one of those being one product. So hybrid tables integrate seamlessly within Snowflake's data cloud, data platform, and database. That sounds pretty lofty, but concretely, an example of what that means is you can run an atomic transaction across a hybrid table and a standard table. Or you can join a hybrid table and a standard table, and that query will execute efficiently within Snowflake's one query engine, no federating out to a different database. We also made it dead easy to use. It's a fully serverless capacity experience, so you don't have to worry about provisioning databases or storage. No downtime for software upgrades, no vacuuming, all of that compaction, all of that is managed under the hood. I hope this sounds good. We're working with a lot of customers that use it for use cases like workflow state for some of their data engineering pipelines, for data serving rather than loading data out into other data stores, and then also for application development, which is why we're talking about it here. I actually want to jump into a demo to show you some of those features and functionality at work. So this is a little demo we cooked up. Tasty Bites is our fictional food truck business here at Snowflake, and we're looking at the driver app for Tasty Bites. So let's imagine that I am a food truck driver. I have pulled up to the place that I'm going to serve lunch today, the Enchanted Castle in Toronto. The first thing I'm going to do when I get to my site is I'm going to look at the orders that my customers have submitted, and I'm going to open the first one of those up. We can see this person ordered a couple of the ranch, some bottled waters, and when that's ready to serve, I'll just mark the order as completed. So really, really basic CRUD application. And maybe you don't have a food truck business, but I imagine that many of you do build applications that have interaction patterns that may look something like this in your own organization. Let's talk a little bit about how we built this, what this looks like under the hood. So it's a really simple React front end. It talks to a Python backend that we wrote using Flask, and it abstracts the underlying database interactions with an ORM, SQL Alchemy in this case. We don't have enough time, so I'm not really going to jump into too much of the app code, but I do want to show you what it looks like in the database itself. So the core data model for this application is this order header table. That's what we were just operating on. And you'll see we're using a hybrid table because hybrid tables are going to give us the performance and concurrency and constraint enforcement that we need for this app. Hybrid tables require a primary key, and they enforce uniqueness on that primary key. We also have a normalized data model, so we're using foreign keys to formalize the relationship with the truck table, the location table, and the customer table. Lastly, I added indexes on the timestamp column and the order status column. That's what we use to make that original order list page nice and snappy. We're paginating based on and sorting based on timestamp. All right, so now the scary part, right, where I start doing some things live in the worksheet. Let's add an order. And I'm going to start by intentionally making something fail. So I'm running this operation here. It's going to take a second for the warehouse to warm up. But you'll notice that this failed because we violated our foreign key constraint. There's no such thing as truck 1000. So let's fix that. There is a truck number 100. So this should go through just fine. And as you can see, now we're able to insert that order. I also want to show you row locking, which is something that has been in databases for a very long time, but something that's new for Snowflake. So I want to show you what that looks like in practice inside Snowflake. Let's update the order that I just inserted into the database. We'll open a transaction, and now I'm going to mark that order as completed. Before I commit the transaction, though, we're holding a row lock on that order right now. But because we're using hybrid tables, and because hybrid tables use row locking, I can operate on any other order in the database without running into any lock contention. So here, I'll mark this order as ready, and that goes through just fine. And if we go back to SnowSite again, I can commit this transaction, and that other order updated just fine. So that's hybrid tables in action, building a really basic CRUD application. I think that it's an overly simplified example, but we're also working with customers that are building much, much more compelling applications on this technology. Mutual of Omaha is an example of a customer that we've worked with throughout the private preview and now in the public preview. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Unmesh.
Thanks, Phil. So the next building block that we're going to talk about for application development is Snowpark Container Services. So as you know, Snowpark Container Services are a step function evolution in our extensibility story. We have had SQL from the beginning of Snowflake. We introduced Snowpark, which is really Python, Scala, and Java languages and runtimes. But that wasn't enough. We were getting asked from the application developers that we want to build native apps with our React UI, or we are ML engineers who want access to flexible hardware like GPUs for model training. So we are solving that problem with Snowpark Container Services, where in a nutshell, just like hybrid tables, it's a fully managed compute service. You don't have to worry about managing your Kubernetes clusters. It is all managed by Snowflake. It is intentionally opinionated, as all Snowflake products are. It is deeply integrated with a lot of capabilities. It gives you out-of-the-box governance, cost management. So that's basically how you can now start bringing languages and runtimes of your choice to build applications on top of Snowflake. What's new in Snowpark Container Services is we have support for block storage. So if you want to bring stateful services, like if you have notebooks and you want to store your notebook state, your files, into a block storage, you can do that. We have folks running capabilities like search or some bring your own database kind of scenarios with Snowpark Container Services leveraging block storage. We have deep integration with observability tools in the sense that we have open telemetry connectors that can push data from Snowpark Container Services, the logs, events, traces, and it automatically gets into a open telemetry compatible solution like Datadog. So you get that the same observability, the same product operations that you're used to. You get that with Snowpark Container Services. With Snowflake Trail, that we are going to talk about very soon, you can also integrate your observability and keep it within Snowflake ecosystem. And I talked about cost management. So we have notion of budgets, which work with warehouses. We are extending that to compute pool, which is a fundamental compute unit for Snowpark Container Services. What's possible with Snowpark Container Services? A lot. You can build fully custom React, Vue.js, or any flavor of JavaScript that's available today in Snowpark Container Services. If you have written backend in, let's say, Go or Rust, you can bring it. You can bring your own databases. We have pre-built services like dbt that other native app partners are building their applications with. And then obviously you have access to flexible hardware, be it the shape of the hardware or the kind of the hardware like GPUs. Next topic is search. We hear very frequently that as an application developer, you need sometimes a rich interactive experience of searching through to power the application experience with search, or sometimes you want a needle in the haystack capability, which is what full stack search gives you. So if you have a use case where you're trying to search for entities like IPs, URLs, let's say in your logs for cybersecurity analysis, full text search is probably what you need. But if you want fuzzy matching, if you want semantic search, this is where Cortex Search comes to the rescue. So this is where the more advanced capabilities of search, where we issue parallel queries for both semantic and for keyword search, and then we automatically rank the outcomes of the search result and rank it for you. It's fully managed. You don't have to worry about managing the index. You don't have to worry about managing the service. It's automatically fully managed and available for you. And in case you want to use vector data type, where you want to do more semantic functions, your style, your way, you can use the vector data types for this. And finally, let's look at Snowflake native applications. So we are already in GA. We just announced today the availability of native apps with Snowpark Container Services in public preview. At a high level, as a provider, you build the native application package. which is a combination of data and code that you want to share with your customers. Once you've built that application package, you can make it available on the marketplace. The app can be installed directly within the security perimeter of Snowflake customer account. And as an account admin, as an application admin, you have full visibility into what the application can do in your account. So this is a huge improvement towards bringing applications close to your data. And we are very excited now that native apps work with Snowpark Container Services in public preview. These are some of the launch partners for native apps with Snowpark Container Services. There are many like H2O.ai who are bringing their driverless AI platform. We have Genesis Computing who are building AI bots. We have DBT Cloud taking a first step towards building their native app. You have Maxa.ai who are winners of our startup challenge. They recently closed their Seed A funding and they are successfully building their business on top of native applications. This is just a visual just to inspire you all with all the native applications that are available on the marketplace today. These are real applications. If you go to Snowflake Marketplace, especially on AWS, this is where all native apps with Snowpark Container Services are publicly available. Go check them out, get inspired, and start building your applications. What's new? So we have capabilities like ST-Chat, obviously Cortex, that allows you to build AI chatbots. We have Snowflake Native Connectors. So one of the common use cases that we see with native apps is our customers want to build ETL connectors to popular data sources to bring their data into Snowflake. And we are very excited to share that the Snowflake Native Connectors are available. The SDK for building connectors is available. So it becomes super easy for you to build these connectors. We are introducing a transitive compliance program. We are currently piloting with 4 partners. And what it means is, for any of you who have gotten SOC 2 or HIPAA or PCI compliance for your applications, we know how painful that is. And the fact that you're building applications on top of native applications framework, we want to make it super easy for you to procure these applications, these compliance. So we are partnering with Vanta. We are trying to understand at this point in time with the pilot program of how much we can, how seamless we can make getting our partners certified by the fact that they've built the native applications. Our North Star goal is that the fact that you've built a native application gets you compliant with our preferred partner, Vanta, in this case. So it's in the motion. If you are excited about transitive compliance, the first step is to build a native app. And then another monetization strategy that we introduced very recently for native applications is the surcharge-based model on top of compute pools. So for some of the partners like Relational AI that are building infrastructure solutions, they want the ability to meter up the amount of compute pools that their services are using. So that's a new latest compute surcharge model that's available to our partners. So just to sum it up all together, Snowflake is an amazing application development platform. We have platform capabilities, observability, and DevOps tools. We have data services like hybrid tables, our analytic database. We have programming choices in terms of languages and runtimes, and obviously a Swiss Army knife with Snowpark Container Services. And we are building a strong developer community with partners who are taking a bet on Snowflake as an application development platform. So go build your applications. Thank you so much. Thank you, Phil.